Hello. On behalf of CLAYSS, I would like to welcome you to this plenary session on awarded experiences in the voice of their protagonists. Today, we have a special panel because the Presidential Service Learning or Schools Awards is celebrating. Ay, ¿se puede empezar de nuevo? ¿Se puede empezar de nuevo? Me re perdí. Perdón, pero me re perdí con algo importante y que podemos empezar de nuevo.
Toma 18.
No, perdón. Me perdí, me re perdí, perdón.
Buenas tardes.
Hello. On behalf of CLAYSS, I would like to welcome you to this plenary session on awarded experiences in the voice of their protagonists. Today, this session has a special meaning because we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Service Learning Presidential Awards Program of the Ministry of Education of Argentina. Contests or prizes in the service learning world are not a competition to produce winners or losers, but an opportunity to give visibility and acknowledgement to thousands of experiences led by teachers and students to improve not only the quality of learning, but also to transform the life of communities around the world. So, based on our invitation, we have 2 secondary schools, 2 training centers, 1 university that have joined us with experiences from Argentina, Uruguay, Colombia, and Spain. In all cases, we are going to listen to the teachers telling us about these experiences and testimonials of the students. We have 2 experiences from Argentina that have received the Presidential Award in 2019. That is an indigenous intercultural bilingual community managed public school from Resistencia in Chaco in Argentina. The teachers are Dina, García, and Zulma Lopez. The Don Bosco Training Center from San Carlos de Bariloche in Rio Negro, with the teacher Fernando, Cristián, Cémbalo. Then we have the experience from school number 1 from South Uruguay with teachers Georgina, Callero, and Valeria Tarmezzano. They are going to present the experience in your shoes. This has received an award from the Ministry of Culture and the National Public Education Administration from Uruguay together with CLAYSS. From Basque Country, Professor Sofía Juanes is going to share with us the experience led by teachers and students from the training center Somorrostro from Usquiz in the Basque Country. It received an award in 2019 for service learning. Joint initiative by 3 Spanish organizations: the Spanish Service Learning Organization, the Educo NGO, and the EDB Publishing House. And finally, the Javeriana University from Cali in Colombia on the Forja program that received an award for global citizenship in 2020. This is promoted by the Taluarts Network that recognizes civic engagement initiatives in higher education institutions at the global level. The teacher will be Juliet Vargas Morales. Now let's
Lopez Zulma.
Soy la profesora.
I'm teacher Zulma Lopez. I'm a teacher of biology from the Indigenous Intercultural Bilingual Community Managed Public School number 1 in Resistencia, Chaco, the Toba quarter. I'm García Dina. I am a professor in the sciences of education and I teach social sciences. Today we would like to share with you a project that we've organized in the community where we work. It's called QUAINA TBC, which means Stop TBC, Stop Tuberculosis. Our school is surrounded by families from the Quom ethnicity and the Creole culture. We close to our school, we have a healthcare center, a community center, the civil registry, and churches from different religions. You can access our neighborhood from National Road number 11 and also through Avenue 25 de Mayo and street number 12. In our school, we have kindergarten, elementary school, secondary school, and tertiary level studies. We work in our project with students from the 5th year of secondary school, and we started in 2015 to reinforce aspects related to human health. In the year 2018, we included in the project the students from the 1st and 2nd year of secondary school. What are the problematics we deal with in the project? One of them was the sensitivity shown by the students and their families in the community. And also another motivation was the high number of cases that were detected of tuberculosis. The project started following a meeting that was held with the healthcare personnel of the healthcare center that is across the street from our school. And we also work with people from the Film and Audiovisual Institute, DCEA. After that meeting, where we discussed the situation in our community, this is a situation that has been observed for several years now, but the number of cases detected by the healthcare center were particularly alarming. So we tried to work in cooperation to see how we can solve this problem at the community level. So the school proposed to the students in 5th year this project to work on the issue of TB. The students graduate our school with a degree in natural sciences. They are considered healthcare promoters. So we thought that there was a close link between our school and this issue, and we thought it was going to be a good opportunity for them to acquire more knowledge and learn the contents in an easier way. So in our classes, we provided information about the disease. The different teachers from the different subjects taught about the issue, about the treatment and the prevention of TB. And the healthcare center offered some workshops for the students to ask questions and clear any doubts and the uncertainties that came up during the process. And the Film and Audiovisual Institute was responsible for training the students and showing them how to use the audiovisual equipment, the technologies such as digital cameras to shoot videos or to take pictures, how to conduct an interview, how to use the microphone, how to make approaches and zooms with the cameras, how to make good takes, etc. And the students also paid visits to the homes, and the students, the teachers, and the healthcare personnel started registering or recording the reasons why the members of the community did not continue with their treatment, or perhaps they didn't go to the healthcare center to receive care when they had different symptoms. So after acquiring the knowledge as to how to use the audiovisual technologies, the students started interviewing the members of the community and asking them about this issue, how much they knew about this issue. So after they collected all that information, the students started editing a video clip that we will be sharing with you at the end. And as the professor just mentioned, we then included students from first and second year of the secondary school in the project. That was in 2018. We think that the school plays an essential role in communication within the community. So it was very important for us to incorporate the students from the first years of secondary school in the project so that they were able to share with their families how dangerous this disease was and how it can be cured with a proper treatment, how the patients can be healed. But for that, it's essential for each member of the family to be involved and to go to the healthcare center to follow their treatments. And then as to the service learning activities at the school, we covered all the aspects related to the prevention and treatment of tuberculosis. And also, another purpose in our school is also to keep working with the mother tongues, the mother languages of these members of the community and their ethnicities. That was done through a bilingual intercultural work. So that was the proposal in this work that was focused on TB. And then as to the learning activities, the purpose was for the students to learn the content in the curricula that tend to be quite abstract or theoretical for our students to understand, and to work on that through a multidisciplinary project that is more comprehensive. As to the service activities, we managed to disseminate these concepts through mass media, bilingual media from the region, raising awareness among the members of the community of the importance of going to the healthcare center for the regular checkups, and also to raise awareness about the importance of the control. And the response was very good because they received the information from the school. Their own children, their own nephews and nieces and neighbors transmitted this information to them. So we thought that was a very important aspect. This project was highly accepted in the community. It was very well received. Well, the beneficiaries of this project, for us, the beneficiaries were the students and the members of the community. These were the subjects included: language, the indigenous language, Cuomlatac, Spanish literature, mathematics, natural sciences, social sciences, arts. And this is the institutional network that participated. As we mentioned, we work at the school, the Film Institute, and the Healthcare Center of the Toba quarter, and our school, that is the Indigenous Intercultural Bilingual Community Managed School, #1. And with all of them, we worked on the different subjects. These are some pictures of how we worked along the way. At the top right, that is the meeting of the teachers and the members of the Healthcare Center and the Film Institute. On the left, you can see the students from 5th year that participated in 2015. You can also see how they teach them to use the camera. At the bottom right, you can see some of the talks given by the Healthcare Center. And these are the cameras facilitated by the Film Institute, and they were used to record an event that was being held in the center of the town, so that children went there with the cameras and they put in practice all the things they had learned. Below you can see how they are positioned with their cameras and stuff, carrying all the materials. And we would like to share this video clip with all of you. Now we're going to present that. This is what the students made out of this project. So we will now show you the final product of the project. TB and the community. It's a disease that can be lethal and very contagious. The mycobacterium is responsible for this disease. Tuberculosis, if it's not treated, it can go up the respiratory system, go to the paranasal sinuses, and then infect the brain members that are called meninges, and they may produce meningitis. What are the symptoms? If a person has cold and cough with sputum for 2 weeks, they have to have a regular checkup. Apart from cough with sputum, you may find weight loss, fever, and tiredness. When a person feels that he or she has symptoms like cough, fever, or sputum, even if the fever is not very high, it is possible that the person is suffering from TB. It would be advisable to go to the healthcare center in that case. There are doctors or specialists that can tell you if you have the disease and know if you're suffering from TB. It's advisable that as soon as you feel the first symptoms of TB, don't wait for long and go and see a doctor immediately. That way, the doctor may heal us. When a person has the disease, cavities are formed in the lungs, and those tissues are never recovered. How is TB diagnosed? For the physician to diagnose TB, first, the cough with sputum is analyzed, the blood is tested, and then an X-ray is taken off the chest to see the condition of the lungs. How is TB treated? Initially, you take 4 pills of each medicine per day. Even if the person starts feeling better, he shouldn't stop taking the pills because he still may be contagious and he won't be healed. 2 weeks after the treatment, we are no longer contagious. The treatment is a 6-month treatment. Treatment is free. TB is not our problem. It's everybody's problem. How is TB transmitted? It's transmitted from person to person through droplets that come out of our mouth, the salivary gland, the respiratory droplets that are produced in the salivary glands, and they come out when we speak, when we cough, when we sneeze. A person that is healthy is obtains the disease when they are close to a diseased person that is not receiving any treatment. This vaccine, BCG, is used on newlyborns to prevent TB. It can also be a result from meningitis with serious sequelae. To prevent transmission, family and friends shouldn't come closer to 1 meter from the person in the first few weeks. When a relative is ill, the whole family has to go and see a doctor. The treatment must be supervised by nurses and a physician. It's important to have a diagnosis in the right moment. For this, if a friend or a family member has been in contact for a long time, has not been in contact for a long time, they have to go to the healthcare center. TBC is not one's own problem, it's a community problem.
Agradecerles a todos por esta oportunidad.
I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity of sharing this work with you. This work we did at our school with our students and the community. We aim at a better school that is more engaged and for the students to play a leading role in their communities. So let's maintain the trust in our youth because they can do much more. Thank you.
Good afternoon to you all. I would like to begin by thanking the organizers for the invitation to participate in this international seminar on service learning. It is with great pleasure that we share with you our project, and we would like to take this opportunity to enrich ourselves from this conference. Let me introduce myself. I'm Fernando Cémbalo. I'm a project coordinator and a teacher of electricity and alternative energies in the Comprehensive Training Center Don Bosco. Our training center is a vocational training center run by the Salesian congregation of the city of San Carlos de Bariloche in the province of Rio Negro in the south of Argentina. San Carlos de Bariloche is a major tourist city in the south of our country, in Patagonia. It receives thousands of foreign and national visitors. It is a beautiful site with beautiful landscapes. Tourists marvel at the landscape, the mountains, the lakes, and the forest. The same happens to us, those of us who live in the city. But we must admit that in Bariloche there are different realities. It's like looking at two sides of the same coin. On the one hand, we have a proud city that is internationally well known. The other side tries to remain hidden and survive. Our school is strategically located in peripheral neighborhoods of the city, in the Frutillar community. We receive students from different areas of what we call High Bariloche. The periphery, the more humble area, is called High Bariloche. We have, among other neighborhoods, Malvinas Argentinas, Novehue, Unión, La Toma, and 34 hectáreas. The Salesian Trades School is based on the teachings of its founder, St. John Bosco. Our pastoral mission requires that we build an educational community characterized mainly by the family environment, engagement, and co-responsibility of the members, interaction with the surrounding socio-cultural environment, and participation in the local community. Our students come from disadvantaged areas in the city. They have unmet basic needs. Most of them have dropped out from formal schools due to different reasons, and they are at this socio-educational disadvantage. And they are a bit delayed if we consider their position vis-a-vis other educational institutions. Our kids, as I like to call them, come to us from different areas of the penitentiary service, from offices dealing with minors, and from the city hall that grants special permissions for these kids to come to attend classes. Our student population is quite diverse. We have different ages because we have young students and adults. This brings about some difficulties in terms of establishing relationships among them, but there is a good atmosphere for them to live and study together. They feel completely identified with our center. The Don Bosco Vocational Training Center is a school of trades with a post-primary school approach. Its proposal focuses on the teaching of trades by specialized teachers. Thanks to the learning process, they will be able to develop their skills, enrich their knowledge, and improve their technical skills and professional competencies in order to join the labor market with a good income and with career development opportunities. Our center has 11 trades, experts in chocolate making, helper for different trades, maintenance of buildings, bakery and confectionery, electricity, industrial and artistic blacksmithing, repair of house appliances, motorcycle repair, hairdressing, home caregiving, cosmetology assistant, manicure, pedicure, and waxing. All these trades are part of a curriculum approved by the Ministry of Education with a certificate that is later on recognized by the Technological Education Institute. Our project is called Winds of Hope. It was carried out by the second-year students of the trades on blacksmithing, electricity, and building maintenance. The Corralito location where the project was implemented is 220 kilometers from the city of San Carlos de Bariloche in the province of Rio Negro. As in many other places, there is no access to the traditional power grid, and a long-lasting drought and the falling of volcanic ash as a result of the eruption of the Puyehue volcano in Chile have created difficult conditions for survival of the people living there. This also brought about death of animals due to the lack of food sources because the ash eroded the animals' teeth, and also problems with crops. So families residing in that area had to look for other activities. That is why we decided to support the egg production experience as a source of income for domestic and household economy. We know as an educational institution that service learning experiences contribute to enriching knowledge and developing the necessary skills to transform reality, to have a place in the labor market, and to have lifelong learning. The Don Bosco Vocational Training Center, with the intention of protecting the environment, increasing poultry production, and improving the quality of life of the residents there, with other organizations and another school, decided to manufacture a small wind turbine. The wind turbine was going to be used by the Ichikushin cooperative. But this kind of equipment can be used by all settlers in the area for charging their own batteries in order to provide lighting to their households or also to their poultry farms in order to improve production. In our learning activities, we can include the following. In the Frutillar neighborhood where our school is located, we apply different trades, the ones that I have already mentioned earlier. Then we had a first field trip to the Corralito location. We recognized the area where the wind turbine was going to be installed. Then we had a second field trip. We excavated the wells, and then we prepared the ground for assembly. And in the third field trip, we mounted the wind turbine. We made all the electrical wiring and connections required, the boards, the circuit board, the chargers, the batteries. Then we also provided all the electrical wiring for the poultry farms, and we also installed timers so that the producers there would not have to turn on or off the lights, but the timers would automatically go on or off at the right time. Let me highlight the love, enthusiasm, and caring that was displayed by our students who come from very humble backgrounds, in order to provide a service and help those who are in need. Our reflection on this experience is that students now can develop their self-confidence in order to be agents of transformation in the place where they live. They can uncover the needs of the people and provide support. They were available to share and to establish channels of communication among themselves, because they spent many days together to discover the true community needs, exercise collaboration, personal and community engagement, coexistence on the basis of respect, honesty, solidarity, with a united climate despite all the difficulties, and motivation. Here we can see some pictures with all the anchoring work for the wind turbine. We see the students of the subjects of maintenance and electricity, how the hoisting of the turbine was done, the blades, how they were assembled, in order to get to the final hoisting and the starting of this wind turbine. We also installed all these wiring connections and timers in the hen houses, and our main recipients and beneficiaries were the members of the rural cooperative, but all the settlers in that location can also use that turbine to recharge their batteries. And they contributed to the work done by students with food and also providing help for the different activities. When we thought that our dream was over, we submitted this project to the Wind Empowerment NGO and the National Institute of Wind Energy of India. They were really interested in our project, and so they invited us to go to Chennai in India in order to explain our project. So we traveled first to the KCG, College of Technology. This is a private school where students study electronics engineering at night. And we were also invited to attend the International Conference on Small Wind Turbines. That was a highly enriching experience. We never thought that our project could get all the way to the other side of the world. When we came back, we were surprised again because we were chosen as recipients of the first prize for the Presidential Awards for Service Learning Schools. So we were very proud as part of the community in Bariloche, in the province of Rio Negro, and in Argentina. My students who had never left Bariloche had not only a good experience with manufacturing this turbine, they also had a great experience because they were able to travel also to the city of Buenos Aires. I would like to thank you for your attention, for your time, for listening to me. I hope this project is useful to others. We are at your disposal, and I would just like to share a video with you about this experience. Once again, thank you all. The three of us had to work on different parts of the project with blacksmithing, also with the blades of the turbine. You always have to work on this side. The blades are quite delicate. You have to work by hand. You cannot use a machine to make them. We work on the electrical components. As we are technicians, it is very good to be able to apply our technical knowledge to ecology. The wind turbine fills us with satisfaction. It is going to provide us with light in the future. Social energy through wind turbines. Don Bosco is a very big dream, and we have to keep on dreaming because we are part of its history. I'm very proud of the work that you did, all the effort that you put into this project. This is a space also for networking, for telling about this experience from different points of view. We didn't have any disagreements. You had to work in the rain, the cold weather. It is important to know that the dream is there and you can achieve it. there is solidarity, there is support, and you can make this dream come true. This is a great experience, and I'm sure that we will repeat it.
Hello, we are saying hello from Uruguay, and we are grateful for the invitation to participate in the International Service Learning Seminar. We'd like to thank all the organizers for this opportunity to share and disseminate our service learning project. Before we explain the proposal, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Georgina Callero. I teach Spanish, and Valeria Tarmezzano, teacher of literature, and we are part of the language department in third year, and we are from secondary school number 1 in Sauce, that is in the department of Canelones. Our mission is part of the educational curricula that is made up of private and public institutions. We have established networks with the schools in the district, as well as with the municipality and cultural centers and the community as a whole, as well as with other institutions in the department of Canelones. And then, after the impact of our proposal, we have also expanded to the capital city of the country, Montevideo. Our proposal came out of a need that was observed in the institution to work in pairs of teachers, and also as a result of the third book fair that was organized in the community, because we're also promoters of that fair. And in 2017, we identified a case of a child that was visually impaired in the institution. So in 2018, we organized an inclusive book fair to meet those needs. And in 2019, this project started called In Your Shoes, that has 3 main lines of action. One is awareness and training, then transcription and editing of the materials, and the final stage, that is implementation of the project in the territories with other schools in the district that work with visually impaired students. So now Georgina is going to explain the first stages. First of all, before describing the stages, I will explain why the name. In Your Shoes is a project that is carried out by students of third year of the basic cycle of secondary school, and they transcribe stories for early childhood written by contemporary authors from Uruguay. Then these books are donated to schools or children that are visually impaired. There you can see the Braille transcription and the logo In Your Shoes, because that is the focus is put on the active participation of the students. So in the first stage, we work on awareness, to work from empathy, so that our students can put themselves in the shoes of a person that has some visual impairment. So they empower, they own the issue, and then they carry out the project in the different stages. In those awareness workshops, we deal with the sensorial aspects. And these are workshops that we gave to the students, and then the students to their families. We also received some visits from some experts and also some experiential talks. For instance, in this case, this person came with his guide dog, another person with his white cane, and they started describing their everyday life through questions by the students that had done some prior research as to how these people are included in society. Apart from these talks, we also had a Braille expert, Estela, who visited us, and she started working with us on this acquisition of the new code that has some difficulties because it's written in a mirror image from right to left. So This workshop was done not with all the students, but just with a group. Some representatives were selected from each class, and then in turn they taught their classmates. There you can see how they started monitoring and teaching their own classmates. The teacher is just a guide. The teacher is not directly teaching in this case. So we needed, of course, a prior teaching phase. But here you can see the student in a more proactive attitude, because the students are the drivers of this process. Then this is how the books were prepared. Valeria is going to explain that in more detail. So as Georgina mentioned, this is the work conducted by the students. We have to consider that our line of action included, for instance, cooperative work, the flipped classroom, where the idea is to have the students work actively as agents for change. So they design, they plan, they promote all the workshops that were conducted throughout 2019. Now we come to the editing phase, because of course there's a trial and error phase before that. So we here face the transcription of the stories that were selected. The stories were selected considering the target audience, the reality of those users, because besides being children in their early childhood, they have some visual impairment. So we made the selection and transcription of the stories based on that. All the books were made manually. That means that they cannot be reproduced. I mean, each of them is a unique piece because they were done with a slate and stylus. They have their cover where we identify the volume, the author, a short bio of the author, a brief summary of the project, and the acknowledgements of the authors that are aware that we are transcribing their books. And these books also have some illustrations, an initial illustration that is the cover of the book, and then 3 illustrations inside the book that accompany the reading process and the introduction, the body, and conclusion of the stories. Each illustration, as this is targeted at the visually impaired, is done with the stylus. They are embossed. You can see the relief, they're raised illustrations. You can see that they don't have a lot of information because remember that here we are working with children that are starting their learning process with the language, and their fingers are their eyes, so they cannot manage a lot of information because that would make the reading process more difficult, and it will be more difficult for them to understand what is being presented for them, and it could be counterproductive. The children might feel frustrated. The idea is that what we include in the illustration is the minimum necessary for them to understand. This is where the books were presented. As we mentioned before, the books were designed to be presented to institutions or schools that work with the visually impaired. And then our proposal had a strong impact in the territory. So then throughout the year, we were invited to different cultural events. For instance, this is one of the events where we presented the books, and then we will see that we were present in book fairs and in openings of libraries, etc. Our students created elements for those presentations. They created these playful activities. They designed proposals so that every time we made a presentation, that presentation aimed at raising awareness among the participants. It's a way of disseminating the proposal, but also of showing the need for inclusion in education and also an equal access to culture. We continued here with the idea of collaborative work and the flipped classroom. These are the students creating their own materials. We were present at the opening of the National Library opened a section for children's literature. We were there. We presented these books for the public in general, and then we started with presentations in different schools and different districts. This is an educational fair in Sauce. Then we were present at the Ministry of Education and Culture, where they organized a meeting on reading in action. That's a topic. And so our project was known in the rest of the country, in the other departments. There we also established contacts with other teachers that had already identified this need to receive this support in primary schools. We were present at the International Book Fair in Montevideo. You will see that in all the presentations we have some instances of awareness and training, and it's always the students, the ones that participate in these activities. They give those courses. And each participant can take a kind of a memento or souvenir where they write their names in Braille, or perhaps they write some phrase. The students teach them how to do it in Braille. We're also present at a cycle of meetings of the reading and writing program of our country, where we disseminated our proposal. We shared experiences that go beyond paper and screen, always emphasizing the active role of the students, their leading role, always trying to focus on community needs. Here we can see the students making some of the presentations, and we as teachers and mediators have always promoted and given the space for them to present the proposal. And we also conducted some educational activities in the children's book fair that was organized last year. Here we can see that the students had their own initiative. When we received these issues of reading is a right, the students started transcribing these books themselves into Braille. This is part of the target audience for our project, kindergartens. We've reached 1,500 people in the 5th edition of the book fair. That includes all the institutions that are part of the educational system, but also other schools from Toledo and Santoray that are districts in the region, as well as families and the community as a whole. The impact of the project, well, we've had an impact on the media, TV, radio. They allowed us to promote the project, and so we disseminated the proposal through them, and also focusing on the work of the students, because this dissemination allowed us also to recognize our work. And finally, this is the presentation at CLAYSS in 2019, where we won this recognition to our proposal. This is the presentation. And Georgina is going to share our projects for the future. Well, this project has not ended. I mean, it continues in 2020. And with the current situation with COVID-19, the idea is to increase the number of stories to be transcribed. We are already in contact with other authors of children's literature in the country. And we think it is very important for the writers to know whether we are going to transcribe their stories, because they feel related to the proposal, and they come to us and they are in contact with our students, and they organize different activities with them. We also want to incorporate some playful materials to the reading, animations, etc., to support this acquisition of the reading skill. We're now creating the prototypes. We're in the design stage. This is going to be, this is a project for 2020 and 2021. There you can find our contact information. You have our email addresses if you want to contact us, our social media contacts, Facebook and Instagram. So don't hesitate to contact us if you have any question or if you're interested in working with us. We are thankful to CLAYSS for helping us in this proposal. I would just like to thank you and My apologies for the brief presentation, but well, we have no more time available. We could say lots of things about this project. So there you have our contact information. We are open to suggestions and questions. If you would like to work in collaboration with us, we're open to that. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sofía Juanes. I come from the Somorrostro Training Center. I'm a coordinator of the project together with the NGO Jajatai. I'm very proud to present our experience to this International Conference on Service Learning. The Training Center Somorrostro carried out the project Recycling with Jajatai. This center is located in Mosques. This is a town in the north of Spain in the Basque Country. We are bordering with Cantabria. Our students come not only from the town of Mosques, but also from its surroundings. And since we are very close to the left margin of the Great Bilbao, it is also a rural and mining area. The training center is a diocesan center from Vizcaya. It was founded in 1947 by Marcelo Gangoiti, and it has formal and non-formal education. As part of non-formal education, we have vocational training for employment for workers and the unemployed. And as part of formal education, we have a mandatory secondary school and vocational training, where this project is framed. We have these different courses for the middle level. We have social cultural services, mechanical work, welding, manufacturing. We have electronics and electricity. We also work with vehicles. In the next level, there are different families. We also have automation and robotics, IT and telecommunication systems, automated systems, administration and finance, marketing and advertising, renewable energy, mechanical manufacturing design, production, planning. We also have IT, network management, multi-platform app development, installation and maintenance in industrial mechatronics, automation and prevention of professional risks, and environmental control and education. We have approximately 60 groups of study in these levels, and considering the entire formal education system, we have approximately 2,000 projects. The project Recycling with the NGO Jajatai was carried out considering a problem in Gandiol in Senegal, close to the capital city. The problem they have is that there are a lot of migrants. People are looking for better life opportunities, and the catches have been reduced, so they need to go further away in order to fish. Now there is an artificial opening of the sun, and the sea has infiltrated the cropland. So we have the Jajatai NGO working in Gandiol, trying to provide a solution to this community. They have this project that was called Jajatai's Gandiol Laughs. And they identified as a problem that they had a lot of accumulation of household waste and accumulation of a lot of plastic waste as a result of the current technologies used for products and for packaging. So there is an excessive amount of plastic that is being disposed of. So this generates waste that brings about problems to health, pollution to sea and land and water, and also this also poses a threat to the native species. Our project was based on collaborative learning on the basis of a real challenge. This was the challenge posed by the NGO to build 4 machines for plastic recycling. That would be the shredder, the extruder, the injection machine, and an oven in order to recycle the plastic and to transform them into useful objects. So here the idea was to address this real challenge with a service-oriented and transformational approach. And we had to design a collection
an educational fair in Sauce. Then we were present at the Ministry of Education and Culture, where they organized a meeting on reading in action. That's the topic. And so our project was known in the rest of their own material play to institute a reading process more difficult. And it will be more difficult for them to understand what is being presented for them, and it could be counterproductive. The children might feel frustrated. The idea is that what we include in the illustration is the minimum necessary for them to understand. This is where the books were presented. As we mentioned before, the books were designed to be presented to institutions or schools that work with the visually impaired. And then our proposal had a strong impact in the territory. So then throughout the year, we were invited to different...
the consumerism that exists and ways to make our consumption of products more sustainable. We also analyzed the accumulation of plastic waste thanks to the representatives that taught us about the kind of waste that we could find in that kind of community, where the waste could be collected, how waste could be transferred in order to plan for waste management and plastic recycling. As part of the learning activities, and the core of this project was the manufacturing of these 4 machines. We had to carry out a risk assessment in relation to these machines, and we had to communicate those risks. Not all the people in the community spoke Spanish, so we had to translate our information into English so that we could have better communication. And we had to do teamwork, not only inside the classroom, but also among different levels of the training center. We also have here an item, a bullet point, talking about the 4 machines, because they were very important for this project. They were taken to Gandiola, and it is there where the service is being provided. So as part of the service component, these were the activities that we carried out. We established the challenge your brain, to collect or to raise funds for the project. There was a bicycle that would move the wheels in the opposite direction. So this was one way of encouraging innovative thinking. We also participated in STEAM fairs. We describe the progress made with the construction of the machines, the importance of plastic recycling, and of course, we had the experience of cooperation over 1 week in Gandiol, where we have different teachers involved along with students. When you saw their faces when they came back, you knew for certain that their lives had been changed forever. The beneficiaries of our project are listed here. First, we have the students of all the different levels involved in the different subjects: welding and boilers, and machining, metallic constructions, electrotechnical and automated systems. They would have to build the structures, the machine parts, work on the electrical wiring and the safety devices. Then those in environmental control and education, that it had to come up with proposals for waste collection and analyzing the different types of plastic waste and their recycling opportunities. And then occupational risk prevention, that was the other signature that was involved, and students had to analyze the risk posed by the machines and how to prevent them. We had students from 5 different levels that participated here, and they carried out common activities, joint activities. They met with Hahatai volunteers to exchange and spread information. They work on the challenge your brain, to raise funds. There was this meeting of young people, the participation in STEAM fairs, and also this experience was shared with the families, the teachers, the students as a closing ceremony for this project. Here the project was described. They described how they built the machines and all the other activities. They also told everyone about their experience and the values that they were able to gain from this experience in Gandiol. From curricular content standpoint, these are the signatures that were involved: environmental management, social skills, environmental dynamics and structure. Then on the occupational risk prevention side, we had management of prevention, technical English, machining, metrology and testing, automated, also in welding and boilers, machining, metrology, different types of welding, and the entrepreneur enterprise, from the metallic construction signature, the different assemblies and mounting systems, and in the automated systems, the electrical boards and systems and electrical installations. We cannot leave aside all the organizations and institutions and companies that supported us. Hahatai and ourselves and the Somorrostro school were the visible faces, but we also have the Servicas network and the mass media, radio stations, TV stations that help us disseminate this project, motivating our students and our teachers the participation in the participation of the project. And of course, I must mention the Spanish Service Learning Network and Servicas, the Basque network, that allow us to disseminate information on this project, to submit this experience for the Service Learning Awards in order to encourage others to follow our steps with similar experiences. And I also have to thank Euskalit for encouraging us to submit our project for a contest for an award that we didn't think that we could win. And I must admit that this help they provided us helped us move forward with the project. In numbers, we had 14 teachers involved in this project, 53 students from the different areas of training, 13 partnering organizations, including those that help us disseminate the project, and 52 beneficiaries that are direct beneficiaries, and those are part of the Aminata Cultural Center, because we cannot estimate the number of people, individuals, that have benefited from this project indirectly and that have been encouraged to improve at home and in their professions or in their studies, or just by recycling plastic at home and waste at home. And we also have the mass media involved. Before sharing the video with you, I would like to once again reiterate our appreciation for inviting us to participate here. And as Marcelo Ganghiotti says, Betty Aurrera, always move forward, dare to dream, because we are not just training and educating people for professions, but we are also developing better individuals. Thank you. So let me tell you about the initiative of inhabitants in a coastal area in Senegal and a group of Basque students. They have joined forces to fight against plastic pollution. So we have the Somorrostro from Vizcaya training center that have worked on recycling this type of material, and they have built machines that are going to be sent to Gandiol, where waste is accumulated and piling up in the streets of the city. In Gandiol, Senegal, you can see an accumulation of waste on the coastline and also along the streets. They are part of the landscape. Some waste are household waste, others comes with the tide to the coast. Since 2012, Hahatai, an NGO, started raising awareness about the need to improve the management and collection of these waste that have women in a central role. Women are interested in keeping the town cleaner, but they didn't have the resources and without the view to how to change that, that was very difficult. So in order to meet the need, students from Somorrostro Center in Vizcaya have built 4 machines to recycle plastic and to use that plastic for new products. So we developed those machines. We have the extruder that produces plastic threads, and then we have an injection machine that uses molds to inject plastic that is heated, and you can give it a certain shape like a tile. And then we have an oven that serves as a compressor, as a compactor that also gives shape. These machines will be in early August in Gandiol. In September, 2 teachers and 5 students will travel there to teach the local population how to operate those machines. We are contributing our grain of sand. We provide you with the machines, but you at home can also do some recycling. That is not too much effort, and you can also make your own contribution. These 2 towns are separated by 4,000 kilometers, but they have the same goal, to have a world free of plastic.
The Pontifical Severian University of Cali. Forja, Javerian Training for Social Change and Peace. Forja is Javerian Formation for Social Change and Peace, and it's a great gamble of Javerian Cali for service learning. This methodology has already been implemented by different teachers in the different schools. In some beautiful initiatives, they have taken students to different parts of our territory, and they've had impactful educational experiences for them in their training and also for the whole territory or the target groups. We've made the decision for this kind of experience to be implemented with all the students at the university. In 2017, then, we started with this proposal of Forja, that is an institutional program with 3 characteristics. First, it's mandatory. That's all the undergraduate students of the 21 courses have to take some subject that implies applying this in relation to the context. Second, that is related to service learning. And 3, to focus on 3 territories. At that time, we established 3 territories. That is a sector of the city of Cali, that is the Comuna 18, the rural area of Cali in the part of the district of Pance and Villa Carmelo, and third, the center of the Valley of Cauca in the region, in order to strengthen the work we were doing with the Peasant Institute and some peasant associations in the center of the valley. So we responded to that huge social responsibility with a clear connection with the curricula, and we also responded to the academic and human excellence of the university, where that idea of the academia at the service of the others gains a special force. So we closed the year 2019 with the participation of 19 academic programs. The 4 schools at the university have created different ways of involving this proposal of Forja, the institutional program, in their curriculum. We could give you several examples, but I will focus particularly on psychology and design of visual communication because of their level of consolidation and because right now we can show you with images how they've been working. The Forja program has been an educational experience for social change and peace that has strengthened the work of coordination between the scientific knowledge and popular knowledge. It's a mutual learning exercise. It's an exercise where the students learn out of all the work they carry out as leaders in the community. And that has helped us improve their research skills, their communication skills, and the different disciplines. In this case, we're speaking of psychology students. Psychology as a course has a subject that is called social psychology that has 3 levels. Social psychology 1 that works on the theory, social psychology 2 that combines the theory and the practice, and social psychology 3 where they conduct interventions in the territory. The Forja program is a force that focuses on the dialogue among disciplines, service learning, and it helps improve those learnings with the trajectory that the communities have led for many years in the work in the communities. Social psychology, and well, this is the first true connection we have with practical activities in our course. This is the first opportunity we have to go out to the field and implement our knowledge. We apply the clinical and the social aspects. We always apply the educational aspects. We even work on culture and climate issues. Forja contributes something to peace in the territory. It makes a big contribution. Because in the past, when the first activities with the children, there were differences. But now they are very good friends and there's a very good atmosphere in the activities, and that is their contribution. Another project that has been very interesting is the Rural Murals project. It's a project where students and teachers from design of visual communication with teachers of public rural schools have managed to identify the value of recovering narratives and stories about the history of the district, of the community. And from there, they can involve children, parents, grandparents, their neighbors in those processes of collective memory in the cities. This is the district of El Banqueo. We work with children from 5 to 11 years old. This is a wonderful opportunity because we take the students out of their comfort zone. We bring them to understand the context of rural education in the country so that they can see different realities. And we use these stories to connect the students with the region. Each story tells a story of the region, and then we analyze the result, the good things, what was missing. This project takes us out of the classroom and brings us to reality to see what happens. Working with the children has been something new for us, and this is the result we have achieved. Speaking of the McJanet Prize, we received an honorable mention in the McJanet Prize, and we've considered that a recognition, a motivation to keep working on strengthening this group of teachers that has dared transform their educational practices and has dared come out of the classroom to generate processes of service, of teaching and learning, identifying the needs of the territories and the needs of the different actors in the territories, and being able to identify and establish service learning processes in that interaction between students and the different community agents based on different learning topics that are established in the curricula based on the realities they face, that they contrast, and that nurture those learning processes. Second, it has also generated this bigger challenge or commitment because we want to keep involving more than a subject in the curriculum. It's much more than identifying a way of relating the curriculum with the strengthening of social commitment at university level. This implies moving a step forward and consolidate that coordination between teaching, service, and on the other hand, integrating that to research processes at academic level that are much more consolidated. So that's a second challenge. And the third challenge is to recognize the leading role played by the students in their own education. So we need to give them more free rein to allow the youth to lead their own learning processes with more decision. That has been the meaning of the prize to us, as well as seeing us from a global perspective to keep learning, to keep consolidating our proposals in education, and to continue being daring in the definition of those service learning processes outside the classroom.